What's up, everybody? This is Chips.
And I'm Sterling.
And we're the Me Bros. Getting right into it, we're going to talk about the Destiny 2 beta.
So we're going to start with the story mode. And basically, it starts with the attack on the tower from the Cabal. And it throws you right into the game.
They're wrecking shit.
And basically, the difference between the old Destiny and the new one is the story is much more dynamic. Basically, throughout the first mission you play, there's a lot more character interactions. There's a lot, like you run into characters from the first Destiny, and they're actually in the city doing things. They're taking care of the people.
They're fighting.
And so it feels much more alive than it did in the first Destiny. Lord Shaxx is tending the people. You go through a whole defense point with Zavala, and so it just feels more connected. You don't just feel like you're going through the paces just to get to the end like in the first Destiny.
And you see Ikora take down an enemy ship.
She jumps on an enemy ship, and I'm hoping that it's not just that this is how it is for this one mission. I'm pretty sure they're going to make a lot of the missions this alive. Next, as soon as you finish the campaign mission, you're thrown into orbit, and you're able to select from different missions to do. You can do a strike, or you can do a multiplayer. So we're going to talk about the strike. The strike, which is called the Inverted Spire, basically has you going through a bunch of platforming, leading up to a boss fight, basically.
And I think it's on Venus because it looks
it does look like it is on Venus. It plays out very similar to older Destiny strikes in terms of it's a match made, so you get paired up with somebody or a couple people.
And it's easy to get paired up with people again this
right,
time.
You just jump right in it, and it throws you right in. You go into it, you kill a bunch of enemies, you work your way down. What did you notice new about it that you liked? Anything new?
There's interaction with the environment.
Right.
So this time there's this big ass drill that you kind of have to dip, duck, dodge, dive, and dodge.
Work your way around.
Work your way around that drill because it's a one hitter quitter. So
it's huge. I mean, and this is the first time that I remember in a strike where the environment interacts with you. It's not just a hallway or a building or whatever. There's actually something there that can kill you if you're not careful, and you have to fight around it. So you have to time how you work around this gigantic drill, and I thought that was real cool, real unique. I haven't seen in any strike in in the previous Destiny. So right off the bat, they're showing us something real interesting that they did with the strike.
And that's right up before the boss fight. So when you get to the boss fight, you have even more level interaction. Even from the first one, they kind of did that with the switching worlds. But this one, it's kind of the same. But what I noticed that's different now is that the boss is more intelligent.
The AI has been improved, or at least it does. At least I haven't found out if you can exploit it yet. I'm sure people probably will, but at least from the jump, you're thrown into the arena, so you can't really hide a place or stay outside and go back in like you did in the first Destiny with a lot of bosses. You're in there, you're thrown in, and you have to, find little hiding places. He teleports around the arena, so the fight itself is a little more interactive.
It keeps you on your toes, basically.
And after a while, he'll destroy the floor, and then you're in a kind of a new arena and stuff like that. And you have to be on your toes. You have to use your jump because you hit the floor, you're gonna take a lot of damage without.
Right. And what they did with this one, what they added in, is that he can change weapons. So he can change how he shoots, his guns or whatever.
Right. He's different. He's more varied in terms of attack. He also has area effect attacks. I felt like a lot of bosses in the first Destiny just did the kind of the same thing, and this guy seemed to do a little bit more. And he also got damaged as you fought him. Mm-hmm. His head seemed to fall off or something like that.
Right, like the Vex when you normally shoot him. And this guy is just a little bit more ruthless. I remember in the previous strikes, any of them, running up to you or doing anything, they may get close, but this guy, he runs up to you and he will kick the shit out of you. I've died a few times because of that.
Yeah, I did die, which is good to me because it means it's challenging. I didn't want to be just rolling right through it. Now, granted, you know, we still haven't seen how this works with your own levels and stuff. They give you everything built, you know, stocked up right to the way they want you to experience it. So we'll see how that relates when the full game comes out. So let's move on to the multiplayer.
So, your favorite class?
I chose when I started the game, I chose the Warlock.
Boo.
And the Warlock is pretty much the same when it comes to the Void Walker. You still have your typical grenades. Everything works the same. The newest thing is that you have a class ability, and for the Warlock, the class ability creates a circle that if you step into it with your teammates, you get certain enhancements. You can choose between damage enhancement or the ability to have a shield, and if you stand in it long enough, you have an overshield. So this can kind of lead to certain advantages, especially if you have two Warlocks and you put them both with both the advantage, both the power and whatever you get. You know, can be a pretty cool combination. And the Nova Bomb has been changed, where it's you can shoot it to make it explode. So both sides can shoot it. So I think it's a way for you to defend yourself against the Nova Bomb. Whereas in the other game, you know, once a Nova Bomb came, you were out of luck. You're not getting away from it most likely. So they did that. Now they also introduced a new class, which is the Dawnblade, which basically gets it's the new fire class or whatever. And when you pop your special, you get a sword, you float in the air, and you can send these dangerous energy beams at people. And it seems to be much more fun to use than the old Sun class, which just had the Resurrection, which I think was very broken. You know, hopefully it has some other cool abilities, but
I loved it when it was on my team.
Right, you did, but you always hated when someone else revived. And I think, like I said, I think it breaks raids and stuff like that. It makes them a little easier unintentionally. So what class did you go with?
My all-time favorite is a Titan. This guy can do some crazy damage. With the Striker class, what's new is that you can do the repeated Titan smashes. In the first one, people hated it when you catch them in a group, and that was it. It was just like that one shot.
Special, and that was it.
But what surprised a lot of people is that you do the same thing, but now you have a time limit to use these specials. So you can just keep on doing it until your special runs out, and that can get annoying. I think you can change it up from the smash, and I think you could also do the shoulder charge, which is basically another one-hit KO.
And they balanced it out by making the smash kind of like the Nova Bomb. It's not all encompassing. Like if you're above it, it's not going to kill you like it did in the other one. I got away from it. I got killed later because I didn't realize he'd still be in the form, and he shoulder tackled me.
Right,
so,
and the AOE on a smash is a lot smaller than the first one. So that's why
you get to keep
the repeated smashes.
Makes sense.
What's also pretty cool is the Sentinel class. They give you the option to carry a shield. So instead of throwing up the big bubble, which some people like, whatever, you can be defensive and offensive at the same time, depending on how you want to play.
Which is interesting.
Right, which creates a whole new team dynamic on how you operate. What I loved about that is that you get to throw the shield.
Right.
You're basically like Captain America. You're just throwing the shield around and shit, knocking people upside the head, and shield bashing. And again, you can change in between. If you want to throw the shield, you can do that, protect, whatever. It's just more of a dynamic on how you play with your Titan.
And what's the Titan's class ability?
The Titan's class ability, he throws up this mini shield. Right. So it is a little spread out, but it's not too big, right? It can encompass maybe 2 or 3 players if they stand behind it.
And I heard the Titan, if he shoots and he stands behind, he gets an automatic reload or something. Like it reloads his gun from something like that.
The crazy thing is, I heard the same thing, but I haven't experienced it because I was doing it often, and I
never got the reload.
I never really got to experience it. Maybe I didn't notice it, and it happens because I use that mostly in multiplayer when I'm capturing a point. I throw up the shield real quick to protect us while we're taking a point.
Right.
And when you're in that firefight, you may not even really notice it because instinct. Instinct is when you're running low on bullets, you reload automatically when you get the spare time. Yeah, and then you just keep going.
Right.
So I've never really use all my ammo and enhance reload. So that's something, that we gotta look out for.
All right. And lastly, we'll just talk about how the matches have changed in the multiplayer. It's now 4v4. They got rid of 6v6, at least for most of it. I don't know, maybe they might have a big team battle maybe or something, but it's 4v4, which lets the matches be focused, not so much random stuff happening. They got rid of special weapons, and they put all those strong killing kind of weapons into one category. So your snipers, shotguns, fusion rifles, rocket launchers, grenade launchers will all fall into the and maybe heavy machine guns will all fall into power weapons. So only one person on your team at a time can have a power weapon. So if you all are standing by the pickup, only one person will get it. So you have to decide who's gonna get it, who's the best with or who can get there maybe at the best time and stuff like that. So it's no longer this crazy everybody having rocket launchers, everybody having snipers.
Right, splitting the ammo amongst the whole team.
You have to actually think and plan who's gonna get what and when you guys get, so I like that a lot. I think it
creates more team strategy. Definitely something that I'm all for.
Right, and it creates to me it gives everybody a little bit of a fighting chance. I mean, when one side got all their special weapons, it was it was kind of like you just and it's kind of like back in the Halo days where one person could get the rocket launcher, one person could get the sniper. So they kind of brought that into this, and I think it makes the game much better. So overall, quick impressions.
Overall, I'd say this is like a 9 out of 10. I'm really happy with the beta, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be super excited and really happy about the game when it drops Wednesday.
Yeah, I thought it was real enjoyable. I'd give it an 8.5. I mean, it's not a full review because we only played a couple of things.
Right.
We still have to see how much content there is when you're playing by yourself, or will it still just be boring patrols or something? Like, what are they doing? They're promising a lot more, but so far, based on the beta, they made a lot of improvements to a lot of complaints that people had. The story is much more interesting. It's not perfect, but it does try to deliver a more interactive, explosive kind of story. The multiplayer is far, far improved. I think I had a lot of fun playing the multiplayer.
Yep.
Strikes are better. They're still very similar.
It shows that Bungie is actually listening to the Destiny community, because it's a huge community.
And now they kind of know what kind of game they want to make.
Right.
So I think we can close it out with that.
Yep.
So this is Sterling.
And this is Chips from the Me Bros.
We're tuning out.
Later.